They injured his horses. They beat his wife. Now every 16th century French noble is going to pay. How far would you go to get what you feel is right? Michael Kohlhaas is a horse breeder in the Cévennes. He leads a happy and peaceful life with his daughter, Lisbeth, and wife, Judith. But all of that is about to change. Michael takes his horses to the market in the city to sell them, when he comes across a barrier guarded by the lord of the region's soldiers, led by the manager. Passage must be granted by the princess or the young baron, the lord of the land. The lord's men tell him that he needs a permit, even though he has passed this way 20 times before without one. The cruel young baron arrives and tells his servant to pass on the message that he wants to buy the horses. Michael offers him a fair price, but the lord makes an unreasonably low counter-offer. Michael cannot accept. They tell Michael to leave his 2 black horses as collateral and that he'll get them back when he gets a permit. Michael refuses because he has to sell them at the fair. The lord lifts his flintlock pistol menacingly and takes aim, but Michael is completely unfazed. This takes all the fun out of it for the sadistic lord, and he lowers his weapon. Michael is forced to hand over his horses and asks his manservant, Caesar, to look after them until he returns. Upon arriving in the city, Caesar heads to the stables to look for the horses. He sees that they have been put to work and are covered in wounds. He relieves them of their cargo before taking them to the river to clean them. While Caesar is busy tending to the horses, the baron's men appear and accuse him of stealing them. They release the hounds, which savagely maul him. Meanwhile, Michael meets with the governor, who is impressed with the horses he has for sale. Michael returns home, unaware of Caesar's fate, and gives his wife Judith a gift. Judith tells Michael what she thought the first time she saw him. If only I could touch that man. Just once. He is so handsome. I would drink his tenderness from a pig's trough. Michael returns to the city and sees his injured horses and demands to know where Caesar is. The manager lies and says Caesar tried to steal the horses and ran away when they caught him. They worked Michael's horses to pay for their keep. Michael tells the guard that he doesn't believe him, but he arrogantly replies, "Believe what you like." Michael confronts the baron, saying, "I left you 2 magnificent animals. Well fed and in good health. I want my horses as they were." The baron ignores him and they slam the gates in his face. Michael lawyers up and we see that Caesar is still alive, although badly wounded by the dogs. Michael demands reparation for the damages suffered by himself and Caesar. The lawyer informs him that the right of toll collection no longer exists, so the baron set up the barrier illegally. Michael also wants his horses as they were. Well fed and in perfect health. Back at Michael's home, he helps a mare birth a colt and says it will be Lisbeth's horse. Watch. He's going to stand up. The lawyer returns from the tribunal. He informs Michael that his suit was rejected. The baron is a relative of a gentleman of the court, and there's nothing the lawyer can do against this level of corruption. Fearing for both their lives, the lawyer asks Michael to leave him out of it and advises him to go and collect his horses. Ignoring the lawyer's advice, Judith learns that Michael wants to take his case to the princess. She offers to go in his stead, believing that she may stand a better chance of convincing the princess. Michael reluctantly agrees. While Judith is presenting their case, Michael takes Lisbeth to round up the horses, when they see Judith's carriage returning from the city at high speed. Sensing that something is wrong, Michael hurries after her, leaving Lisbeth to make it back on foot. Judith has been badly beaten by the princess's men and eventually succumbs to her injuries. After the funeral, Michael sends Lisbeth off with the preacher, promising to come back for her when it's all over. Michael rallies his men with a speech before they set off to take revenge on the Lord for Judith's death. The Bible tells us to forgive our enemies. I pray to God that He never grant us such forgiveness as we will give our dog of a lord. They storm the castle and lay waste to the Lord's men with crossbows. Caesar finds the manager who set the dogs on him hiding in the kennels, and gets his revenge. The cowardly baron fled on foot during the battle and they prepare to give chase. Disillusioned with French nobility, some peasants ask to join Michael's cause. Tales of Sir Kohlhaas, a single man and his horse against the entire world, spread far and wide, and soon peasants, criminals and outcasts from across France join his ragtag army. Including this chonky boy, whose donkey is straining under his weight. He offers Caesar a pig as a gift. Kohlhaas is a man of principle and doesn't accept gifts, so he will pay for the pig. Caesar asks, "Who here knows how to fight? And who has gone to war before?" He then asks them if they know what the Lord does to peasants who revolt. They cut off your fingers. They put out your eyes. They torture you slowly. It lasts a day. The death of a peasant is a joke. I was a soldier. I know what I'm talking about. Caesar tells the absolute unit on the left to come with him. The other two must go home. The man on the donkey insists he knows how to fight but backs out when Caesar challenges him to a duel. What he lacks in fighting prowess, he makes up for with information. He knows where the young lord is hiding. He has taken refuge in a nearby church and disguised himself as a nun. Michael's troops set fire to the church to smoke him out. The preacher and Lisbeth arrive on the front lines. He tells Michael that flowers are blooming on Judith's grave, and that no one at home is judging him for his actions to go to war over her, his horses and, ultimately, his rights. A French noble sends 2 squads to assist the young lord, but Michael's troops intercept them and cut them down. Unfortunately, Caesar is slain in the skirmish. While Michael digs the graves for his fallen men, the young lord makes his escape. One of Michael's soldiers was caught stealing from a nearby village. He reminds his troops that war does not give them the right to take from others. They must pay their way. Demanding tolls. Stealing. That is what the Lord does. He promptly hangs the soldier responsible. The theologian, Martin Luther, a seminal figure in the Protestant Reformation, questions Michael's idea of justice. All these people you're leading to war. Do they know what awaits them? What awaits you on earth is the gallows. Michael simply replies, "It's an honor to meet you." They continue their discussion in Michael's tent, where Luther says he spent his entire life trying to convince the nobility that they have no reason to fear the peasants. That all they wanted was to be allowed to live and prosper alongside them. Michael's rebellion has only set back his cause. Luther urges him to lay down his arms. Michael agrees to a treaty if the Lord returns his horses to him in good health. Luther reports back to the princess, who offers Michael safe passage so that his case may be tried anew. Should the tribunal dismiss his suit, he will submit himself to the law for having taken justice into his own hands. On the contrary, should the tribunal find that he is in the right, he and his troops shall be pardoned and he will be granted amnesty. Michael orders his troops to surrender their arms. Although they initially celebrate the amnesty, the big man and Michael's other troops have no sense of purpose and don't know where to go now that the war is over. Michael heads home and takes a bath when the princess arrives. She tries to apologize to Lisbeth, admitting that it was her fault that Judith was injured in her castle. She tells Michael that she was in the town he was preparing to destroy before he surrendered, and she had far less men than him. He could have easily taken far more power for himself by killing her, so why did he agree to the amnesty? Michael says he's not after power. Only what is owed to him. The princess notes that Michael is like her. He lives as much by the love as by the fear he inspires. If you inspire only fear, everyone despises you. Only love. And it is a sign of weakness. The princess prays at Judith's grave, and promises that he will get his horses back, as well as reparations for the attacks on Caesar and Judith. The next day Michael prepares to travel to town to see his horses. When a soldier informs him that one of his men did not surrender his weapons. 2 nobles were killed and their property stolen. Michael argues that he has no more men because they all turned in their weapons, but it is no use. The princess considers the terms of the amnesty broken. Michael and Lisbeth escape in the dead of night, traveling through dense fog, but are eventually captured by soldiers and taken to be tried. Michael is imprisoned, but the princess intervened, so he won't be tortured or flayed or burned. Michael tells the preacher that the worst is the certainty. Every day, he's getting closer to Judith, but he's getting farther away from Lisbeth. It isn't death that bothers him. But knowing absolutely the day, the hour, and the manner is the most difficult. Michael attends his trial and is given back his horses, in good health as agreed upon. The reparation money's for Caesar. The reparation money's for his wife. And the young lord gets off with a slap on the wrist. 2 years in prison for what he did. Michael has what he wanted. Lisbeth is furious that Michael is going to become a martyr for his beliefs and leave her behind. She does not speak to him, only saying that she wants to go. The governor sentences him to death and he prepares himself for the swing of the executioner's blade as this masterpiece finally draws to a close. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you want to watch more videos like this. Thanks and see you again soon.